In the dark waters of the North Sea, a silent terror lurked, the U-480. Invisible, deadly, and swift, it struck without warning. Sailors whispered of its ghostly presence, but by the time anyone realized it was there, it was already gone. Ships vanished without a trace, leaving only fear in its wake. But how could the invisible submarine be defeated? Join us as we dive into the hidden world of the U-480, where innovation, courage, and tragedy collide beneath the waves. August 14, 1943, Kiel, Germany. A new submarine was launched, but this was no ordinary vessel. It was the prototype of a new generation of attack submarines, designed to restore the German Kriegsmarine's dominance at sea. In the narrow steel corridors of the ship, the crew prepared for a world they had never experienced, a world of silence, darkness, and constant threat. Every click of a switch, every vibration of the engine brought them closer to their fate. At the helm was Hans-Joachim Forster, a young naval officer who commanded the U-480. He was born on February 20, 1920, in Dresden, and had received a disciplined upbringing. Forster joined the German Navy at a young age and gained years of experience aboard various ships. He distinguished himself through his technical knowledge and strategic insight. His appointment as commander of the U-480 was both a recognition of his talent and a heavy responsibility, as he was about to lead one of the most advanced submarines of his time in the midst of an increasingly fierce war. The U-480 was a Type 7C submarine, an advanced version of the earlier Type 7B. It measured 220 feet long, 31.5 feet tall, with a draft of 15.5 feet. The submarine was powered by two Germania-Werft F-46 four-stroke, six-cylinder diesel engines for surface use, producing 2,800 to 3,200 horsepower, and two Siemens Schuckert electric motors for submerged operation, with a combined output of 750 horsepower. It had two shafts and two propellers, each measuring 4 feet in diameter, and could operate at depths up to 755 feet. On the surface, it could reach a maximum speed of 17.7 knots, about 20 miles per hour, and 7.6 knots, around 9 miles per hour, underwater. While submerged, it could travel 80 nautical miles at 4 knots, and on the surface, it could cover 8,500 nautical miles at 10 knots. The U-480 was armed with 5 torpedo tubes, 4 at the bow and 1 at the stern, and carried a total of 14 torpedoes. In addition, it was equipped with an SK C-35 deck gun with 220 rounds, 1 flak M42, and 2 twin C-30 anti-aircraft guns. The U-480 was expertly operated by a team of 44 to 60 men, all responsible for keeping the submarine combat ready. The revolutionary feature of the U-480 was its Alberich coating. The Alberich coating was a specially designed anechoic rubber material applied to the exterior of the submarine. Its primary purpose was to reduce detectability by sonar. Conventional sonar works by emitting sound waves and measuring their reflection. A hard metal hull of a submarine reflects these signals strongly. The Alberich rubber tiles, however, absorbed a significant portion of the sonar energy, making the submarine nearly invisible to Allied Submarine Detection Investigation Committee systems, also known as ASDIC, the British version of sonar. Additionally, the coating had a secondary effect. It dampened the noise from the engines and mechanical components. This made the U-480 and similar submarines silently moving hunters, difficult to detect and track. The technology was far ahead of its time, giving German submarines a temporary tactical advantage in the battle against Allied shipping convoys. The name Alberich refers to a figure from German mythology, an elf-like being that could hide and become invisible, a symbolic reference to the invisibility the coating gave the submarine. During its first patrol on June 11, 1944, the U-480 was attacked by a Canadian Canso, the Canadian version of the PBY Catalina, but the submarine survived and managed to shoot down the aircraft. On August 3, 1944, it began its second patrol from Brest, during which the U-480 grew into a feared hunter in the English Channel. Within a few weeks, it sank 4 enemy ships, each leaving its mark on British maritime history. On August 21, 1944, the U-480 delivered a devastating strike in the English Channel. That day, at around 11:40 a.m., the Canadian Flower-class corvette HMCS Alberich was hit by an acoustic torpedo, also known as a gunat, fired by U-480. The ship was struck on the port side, just behind the engine room, and sank within a minute, stern first, approximately 25 miles southeast of St. Catherine's Point near the Isle of Wight. In this attack, 59 of the 90 crew members lost their lives, including 4 officers. 31 men were rescued by 2 British motor torpedo boats and taken to Portsmouth. The following day, August 22, 1944, U-480 struck again, this time hitting the British minesweeper HMS Loyalty J217, an Algerine-class vessel. The Loyalty was engaged in minesweeping operations in the aftermath of D-Day and was en route to Portsmouth when a tow line from the minesweepers broke. The Loyalty and the trawler Dune were called to repair the tow line. Meanwhile, at 4:06 p.m., U-480 fired a torpedo that struck the Loyalty. The ship capsized in less than 7 minutes, resulting in the deaths of the commanding officer and 18 crew members. On August 23, 1944, it was the turn of the cargo ship Fort Yale, sailing in convoy system ETC-72. This ship had previously been damaged by a mine and was being towed by the British tug HMS Hudson and the American tug USS Farallon when U-480 fired a torpedo at approximately 5:58 p.m. The Fort Yale sank about 17 miles southeast of St. Catherine's Point. Casualties were relatively low. 1 ship officer, a naval signalman, was killed, while the rest of the crew, including the captain, were rescued and brought to Portsmouth. Finally, on August 25, 1944, the British steam cargo ship Orminster was hit while trailing behind convoy FTM-74, a so-called straggler. U-480 struck her at 2:43 p.m., approximately 35 miles northwest of Cap d'Antifer on the French coast. The crew had no time to save the ship. They knew almost immediately it was lost and began evacuating. Among the rescuers were HMS Pennyworth and HMT Damsey, who picked up the survivors and brought them to Portsmouth. In this attack, several gunners were killed. For his successes, Förster was awarded the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross on October 18, 1944, one of the highest military honors of the Third Reich. The achievements of U-480 and her crew made this submarine a nightmare for Allied ships in the English Channel, a silent hunter that repeatedly emerged from the shadows and vanished again. On January 6, 1945, U-480 departed on her 3rd and final patrol from Trondheim, Norway. She never returned. In 1997, the wreck was discovered at a depth of 180 feet, about 12 miles southwest of the Isle of Wight. Later investigations confirmed that the submarine had struck a secret mine from the Brazier D2 field. The Brazier D2 minefield was a secret British mine barrier laid in early 1945 in the English Channel, intended to destroy German submarines. Despite the submarine's advanced stealth technology, the hidden threat of the mines led to her tragic loss. The story of U-480 and the minefield highlights the ongoing technological race and the dangers of the sea during World War II. Today, the wreck of U-480 lies on the seafloor as a silent and somber monument, an eternal reminder of the crew who never returned. Torpedo tubes slowly rust, hatches hang half open, and the personal belongings of the sailors tell a story of daily life, fear, and camaraderie aboard this stealthy hunter. The heavily damaged stern marks the spot where the fate of 48 men was sealed. Their lives abruptly ended by a combination of war, chance, and the relentless power of the sea. The wreck symbolizes the vulnerability of both man and machine, reminding us that even the most advanced technology cannot always protect against the unknown dangers of a hostile underwater world. The U-480 is remarkably well preserved and offers a rare glimpse into the design and technology of German submarines from World War II. The rubber tiles of its Alberich stealth coating are still visible on the hull, and the submarine structure remains largely intact. This preservation makes it a valuable site for divers and historians interested in maritime history. The depths of the sea hold countless stories, forgotten tales of bravery, loss, and unforgettable moments. Subscribe to Archive of the Deep and explore the places where history and mystery meet.